We did it. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Live Reality Games, the podcast, the game, the ride, the experience. I'm Naomi Calhoun. I'm here with Lee. We are talking about Scotty Survivor, episode 10. It's another fantastic episode of Scotty Survivor and a fantastic episode of College Survivor in general. One of the messiest things I've seen in a good long while. Lee, how are you doing?
Doing well, recovering from the episode, trying to figure out what is happening this season.
Wouldn't we all love to know? So, this episode, we saw Corey go home in a unanimous decision in precursor to Rocks. Something I don't think we've seen in a very long time, right? Lee, you're the expert, you're the historian here. How many times have we seen this on College Survivor that they almost go to Rocks and then they decide, you know what, we're not going. I'm sorry, buddy, you gotta go.
Now, out of the college survivors I've only seen Boston, Maryland, and Michigan. So if there's any ones that I haven't, any Survivor New York ones I haven't seen.
No, nothing as crazy as this on Survivor New York. Obviously, it's Liz, right? We have that moment.
I think, flicking through, I think Liz is the only one that this has happened to.
So Liz,
everyone else has either gone to Rocks or flipped.
Yeah. Liz is the queen, and Corey joins the pantheon of people who've been voted out in this sort of way. What a mad episode, huh? What a crazy couple of
we got
minutes.
Names flying everywhere, people who were supposed to vote one way but voted another way, people who weren't supposed to know the plan but were told the plan, people who didn't know plans, that idols are around. Yes. Idols should have been played, mistakes were made by many mistakes were made by many players.
Yeah, this episode could have been titled "Mistakes Were Made," but I think also it's very funny because I know May was like, "Oh, I don't know if I really like. I didn't think I was going to win this immunity." And I was like, "What a great time to have immunity, huh?" Like that was the moment of everything.
And if she didn't have immunity, would we have the same result?
Good, yeah, I think that's a really fair point. And you could see that May, I think, with her immunity, was ready to go to Rocks. Was like, screw it, I would go to Rocks because I'm immune, I don't care. But everybody, especially, this is like the danger, right, of somebody like Sarah and Olivia having idols. Is they had their idols, they're like, I'm not going to go home. Like, I could be safe next round. I'm not going. What a cacophony.
And going to Rocks again.
Right, exactly.
And last time Rocks didn't work out well for them.
Yeah, that's what I mean is like they had seen the risk before. The risk was not worth it. And with May not being up for the rock draw, that's basically, 3 people who could go home from their side and 2 people that could go home from the opposition of Olivia, Leo, and Sarah. So the odds are not in your favor and it's not a good move for you. So I totally get why they flipped
eventually
on Corey.
Flipped.
Yeah. So
I feel like they should have done it at the revote rather than waiting.
Yeah, it makes you all look worse if you kind of all have to unanimously decide it, because if you flip before the revote, or I should say if you flip on the revote, then in a way you can kind of save face and say, well, you know, this is a long way of saying, like, not everybody who flips has to explain it, right? Like, oh, Leo flipped. You can be like, oh, Leo flipped and sent you home. But if you all flip at the unanimous decision making moment, then you all look like a bunch of schmucks who flipped on him, and it looks worse for everybody. But let's start at the very beginning, Lee. We had seen Dorothy go out last episode, and now we're in a moment where it's back to a weird. The alliances are very fluid in this episode. Is there any particular alliance or like group of people that you're pulling for? Like, who are you rooting for in this moment?
Well, obviously Olivia, because Olivia is College Survivor's fan favorite.
Right, correct.
So obviously rooting for her. Who else am I rooting for? I really have to think about it. It's like Olivia, obviously, and then it's like, who else?
I'm rooting for Audrey a little bit. I think Audrey is actually kind of making a lot of chaotic moves that are upsetting the power structure. Maybe she doesn't always intend for them to go the way that they work out, but so far things have worked out for Audrey in a weird technical way. So good for her.
Yeah, from almost being the first boot to causing so much chaos.
Oh man, and that's on the Scotty Survivor Discord. I said that this season reminds me a lot of Kagayan. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but I just think that like the fluidity of everybody, where somebody will vote against you one vote and then jump back to working with you the next vote, and they can all sort of brush it off and move on past it, I think is really, really interesting. And I think the season of Survivor that embodies that type of gameplay is Kagayan in a lot of ways. Do you agree with me? Am I talking out of my butt here?
No, I do agree with you in that sense. I will be honest, I did not watch all of Kagayan. I've only seen I've only seen the pre-jury and the Sarah Blindside.
I think that says it all, right?
Yeah, only because I knew who the winner was before I watched the season because I got spoiled it.
Because and you can't enjoy a season anyways when you know who the winner is?
No, I can't. I can never rewatch a Survivor season since I know the boot order already. It's like, I already know who goes home. I already know, like, all this talk of this person, like, maybe I'll flip, maybe I'll cause some chaos. It's just, no, it's just a waste of time.
Fascinating. I mean, I can watch the season over and over and over again, but it's mostly because I'll skip over parts. I'm like my friends call me a lunatic because I'll just fast forward through things. But I will at least.
I'm the same. I skip through the filler parts. Like, get to the point. Get to the effing point.
Yeah.
Like, the only Survivor seasons I haven't seen fully are Tokachins, Blood vs. Water, and Kagayan.
Those are 3 great seasons. Oh my gosh.
I knew who wins all of the. I mean, I haven't seen them. I haven't seen Tokachins is the only one I haven't seen fully. The other 2 I've seen like up to the merge. But this is how bad I am. I can actually list off the Tokachins boot order, even though I haven't seen the season.
Oh my god! All right, we're going to. This is Scotty Survivor. I cannot spend enough time talking about how you should just watch Tokachins anyways.
But I definitely do like the fluidity of how, like, okay, I voted against you this tribal. Now we're going to work together. It's something I do enjoy. It's not. I don't like predictable seasons.
Yes, I think that this is an unpredictable season for sure.
Very much. And the fact that it's never these 2 alliances sticking together the whole time is fun to watch, especially with this cast of people.
Yeah, and that's kind of maybe why I'm rooting for Audrey in a weird way, is because she is moving between alliances. She's making moves that benefit her, because I think that Corey going out benefits Audrey the most. We'll talk about it later, but I think this is a moment where Audrey can really shine. And so far, she has been grasping every opportunity presented to her and moving around with the groups of people that are moving. And so I'm really sort of admiring the way she's playing. So we have our challenge first, right? And this is iconic Michelle Ko-Rong kick puzzle building. I thought this was fun. It was really complicated, and I think a great way to translate a puzzle that you don't necessarily have built for yourself into a Survivor game. And I think it was like a good puzzle challenge translation. Did you like watching this challenge, Lee?
Oh yeah, it was fun. We got to see how it was interactive. I was kind of a little bit annoyed with something that's completely minor and unimportant. When I think it was Govin is the one who does the challenges, right?
Yeah, because Shane's on tribal now, yes.
Yeah, when he said, like, you're going to use a pair of tweezers to move the dice, I was thinking, like, tiny metal tweezers, not, like, giant plastic tongs.
I almost think the plastic tongs are worse because, like tweezers have, like, a good amount of, like, grip and, like, you know, you can really sort of pick something up. If they were, like, the really long ones, you know how you ever see, like, on, like, a food show where the tweezers are, like, this long and, like, they're for, like, putting, like, a leaf on a dish? Yeah. That would have been funny. Yeah, I think the plastic tweezers, they almost feel like safety scissors, where, like, maybe they're, like, a little easy to handle, but maybe they're pretty difficult. Yeah, I also was surprised when I saw that. I was like, oh, those are...
Yeah, it's like, okay. Those aren't tweezers.
In a child's mind, those are tweezers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the dice. I love a good challenge where people get really like, "Where's my stuff? Where is everything?" Because they're like Leo and Sarah are like, "I can't find the dice." Like they're just so passionate about how things are going for them that they're like, pissed.
They're convinced like, this is unfair. Why are you rigging me?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's right there. You're just blind.
Yeah. Especially that's my favorite is when production, especially like in a game like this, the players are always so quick to be like, production forgot my dice.
Oh, yeah.
And I've played in
it's
games
production's fault.
Right. I've played in games where like we've had missing puzzle pieces, but usually it takes us a while to figure it out, and then we can be like, wait a minute, I think we're definitely missing something. But check your surroundings, folks. Like, open eyes, look around you, and then you can yell at your camera crew who's filming you. I mean, Leo almost topples Shane over in this episode, right? Like, holy,
the amount of people that almost ran into each other.
I know. Like, guys, be nicer to Shane. Come on. He's just trying. He's just filming the content.
It was dark, so it was probably those dice were like neon colors.
Yeah. Oh man.
It's not like.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Nah,
I was just like, it's not like the dices are like regular dice where it's like black and white. Like they're bright, like neon green, neon pink. It's like a highlighter threw up on them.
That would be so funny if they were just like black dice with white dots.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be so annoying.
But
or worse, they blend in with the grass and the dirt. Like they're a dark green with brown dots.
I think that's something that is interesting here is that you need to have all of the dice stacked with the same colors. You can't stack them up and create 5-5-5 out of whatever combination. It needs to be the same colors. And I think that is a really good sort of wrench in what somebody might do to hack this challenge. Just build 5 towers up and stick it up. And we see a lot of heartbreaking falls and topplings in this challenge. The wind, again, does not like Scotty Survivor players. And
the wind is the true villain of the season.
The wind is Allison Grodner rigging production. It's like they really just try and take things out. It's a Big Brother thing. Don't worry about it.
Oh, I don't care for Big Brother. I don't watch terrible shows.
So
it's a horrible show. I go off on it in the challenge recaps where
Big Brother is Big terrible. Brother is like the YouTube kids content for adults, like it's just not, it's nothing.
With racists.
But
back to Scotty Survivor.
What I really enjoyed about this challenge is that May comes from behind. She didn't think she was going to win it, and she did, and that's a sign of a good challenge, right? Is that anybody at any time can come through and pull out the win. And I think that May,
true Michelle, coming from behind and winning,
a true Fitzgerald here. And I think that this is like a great win, right? Like I'm really excited that May is the winner here, because I think that May staying in the game continuously shakes up what Sarah is doing. And Sarah is somebody who is making a lot of moves based on who she wants to work with, and May is always in those plans. So for me, May's safety means that Sarah is going to make more interesting moves to protect May and to keep May on her side, which is things like not voting out Hallie and not voting out, I guess Audrey in a way. But I don't know. Lee, were you excited to see that May won immunity?
Yeah, I was, because she was one of the 2 people who didn't know the Dorothy plan.
Yes.
So it's nice to see her safe. It's nice to see that she wins an immunity, because the immunity's getting spread out by everyone.
Yes, I like that too. I like when multiple people win. It's not just a challenge beast, and it also kind of prevents that narrative of challenge beast, which I always hate, right? Like, is when somebody is just known for winning 2 challenges, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, we have to put them out. Yeah,
it's like, oh my god, you won a random challenge and you solved a puzzle 2 seconds quicker.
We have to get them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I'm glad
you won 6 and 6 in challenges. You're a threat. Get out of here.
And again, I think that there's a good chance that if May isn't safe, that that maybe somebody from the May side flips on Eric, if we go to the sort of vote later on, if that's what happens. And I think that it potentially could, if somebody is somebody has immunity from like the Leo, Olivia, Corey side, and Sarah, I think that they would be more inclined to go to rocks in a way, especially if it's somebody like Leo, who's a little bit of a sort of chaotic player. I think that if he was safe, that he would be more inclined to play sort of recklessly with his allies' sort of lives in his hands. So I'm glad that May won. Yeah. I think it produces
chaotic
a lot of
player, yet barely shown in the episode.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's Leo? Something I noticed. Like, he had like one confessional in the bathroom because he realized his game was there.
Yeah, well, okay, that's the thing I forgot. Why is everybody in the bathroom? Why is everybody in the bathroom? I'm gonna message Shane that. Are they in the same bathroom? Like, what's going on?
Is it like a Scotty bathroom? Yeah. So that was something that was always crossing my mind throughout this episode. Like, we're hearing Leo's name, but we're not seeing anything of him.
Yes, so it's like that. Go ahead.
Oh no, I don't know what I was about to say.
Well, I think for me, just like it was really confusing because it basically meant that like Leo could potentially go home at like in a lot of these moments, right? Leo's name is going out. Leo could be the one to go. And we never really see Leo do anything. We know from Shane that Leo claims that he told Corey to play the idol, but we don't really see that except for a little bit. And Leo's on the phone with Sarah and Olivia, but what it really feels like was Olivia and Sarah saw this as an opportunity to put in the work to get something interesting to happen, and they were leaving Leo out of it. And it shows that, you know, Leo wasn't in the middle of very important happenings on the tribe.
They were very happy with him receiving some votes.
Yes.
As long as it wasn't the majority.
That's
I think it's definitely getting to the point now where there's 8 people and they're like, well, for Leo, if Leo goes, it won't be so bad. It would suck, but it wouldn't be terrible.
And that's never a spot you want to be in with your allies. And I also think that's where Corey was too, right? If like obviously he was more of a target, but they were like, Corey goes, who cares? I want the idol. And like if they're prioritizing an idol when they both have idols over you, you are not a good member of their alliance, and you need to find another people to work with.
Sarah even said it, like, I want to get a Corey so nobody knows I have an idol.
Oy, hey.
And then I'm here thinking, like, then why did you tell him?
That's really funny. I love when people sign their own death warrant in a weird way where it's like, I told them they had the idol and now they need to go.
Yeah.
What kind of people is that? Well, so let's talk about this breakdown, because originally 12 hours before tribal, it's supposed to be a plan with Sarah, Eric, Olivia, and Audrey, where the 4 of them are going to vote for Corey. Corey and Leo are going to vote for Hallie, and Hallie and May are going to vote for Leo. That's the plan. A 4-2-2, 4-2-2 split.
Bloody camera angle. Yeah. And here I was thinking, like, yay, a 3+ vote.
Yay!
A penultimate vote.
And this would have been really interesting. And I have to say that I know that a lot of things kick off in this episode, but I'm kind of upset, even though Audrey and Eric, I do think, come out of this probably in the better spot. I think they shouldn't have told May or Hallie anything, because it's a great demonstration of your power where you can get Corey out on their side. You just keep May and Hallie, people who will work with you, and then you go back to them to vote out Leo or somebody in the next vote. I was really shocked, but I guess not that shocked, because, you know, people always are going to make mistakes, right? But I was really shocked that Audrey and Eric told May and Hallie about what was going down.
Yeah. I don't get why Eric told May. Audrey telling Hallie is kind of understandable, since they kind of work together. Audrey kind of betrayed him, so it's like she didn't want to exclude him from another vote. But I think Audrey got confused, because she originally said Hallie was supposed to vote for Corey, and then it's like, I'll message him to vote for Leo. So I don't know if Audrey got confused on the who's on voting.
Yeah.
So that could have happened. I also like how she was in the conversation with Sarah and she was like, oh, I'm just going to just call Hallie. And Sarah's like, you're going to call Hallie? Yeah, it's okay. He's on the plan. She's like saying it so casually, like, oh, it's fine that Hallie knows. Well, Sarah's there like, oh, fuck.
I have never seen a scene that depicts playing fake Survivor more accurately than a moment like this, where I was just like, oh yeah, I told the plan to the person that I shouldn't have told the plan to. And you can just see Sarah go like, and now I'm stuck working with these people, because what are you going to do? You can't go to Corey, and I mean, eventually they do go to Corey and be like, let's vote Eric. Yeah. But what are you going to say to them? Like, we were trying to vote you out, but it didn't work. So now let's work together. Like, oh my God, what an insane move.
So we are going to blindside you and get rid of your idol, but instead we're going to vote you and bond. It's like, oh, also Sarah and Audrey like bonding over their distrust of Eric.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, and the funniest thing, it was like right before like the intro, and it's just Olivia like saying, "I think Corey has the idol," and like pulling these faces. Like, I can't do it justice. But it was like, it was so funny. It was like, I think Corey has the idol, which is definitely good in College Survivor. Looking at those details, like, I brought my bag because I knew I could play an idol. And then Corey was the only one that also brought a bag. So he has an idol. It's definitely something to notice. Yeah, it's something you notice in these college survivors, like who brings their bags, who wears like a slightly or larger jacket to hide with big pockets to hide the fact that they have an idol on them. So that'd be something.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, as an adult, I carry a purse with me like everywhere I go. I can't. Obviously, like, women's pockets are smaller anyway, but like, I always need to have a bag with me, a tote bag, a backpack, or whatever. I need to have an extra pouch. So I feel like I would get targeted because I always want to have my bag with me, because like, if I'm going outside of the house, who knows what could happen. So I thought this was so funny, but it's a great observation from Olivia, right? Like, she understands it, and then Sarah kind of confirms it to her. Like, Olivia is really great at the sort of small moments that get you more information than you.
She's good at noticing the details.
Yeah, exactly.
And just matching somebody being voted off because they can't stay bringing purse, like voted off by a tiny woman jean pockets.
Like, oh no, my outfit doesn't have any pockets. Sorry, I
can't pull an Aaron from you can't pull an Aaron from Michigan 4 and it's like come up in this nice outfit and then get voted off.
I would do that though. I would love to be like on Real Survivor and know that you're gonna get voted off and like really go full stylish for the moment. Like
in Real Survivor, how are you gonna do that on an island?
I don't know. You just like borrow some jackets, tie your hair up real nice with your buff.
Yeah. Hey,
it's like how Michaela had popcorn. Yeah. It's like how Michaela had her like little thing of popcorn. You're like, where'd you get that from?
Yeah. Shut it. Oh, Michaela.
I love her.
I think the only person I know that I can remember like dressing up because they knew they were going home was like Victoria in Terrapin Trials. It's like she came out in like this amazing dress, looking amazing because she kind of knew like I'm going to go home, but I'm going to get voted off in style.
Yes, that's exactly what I think I would do if I was playing like College Survivor. If I knew it was me, I would dress up for the occasion. I would bring like a full beer just to go nuts. So back to Scotty Survivor for a second moment. What do you think about the initial plan for Olivia and Sarah? Right, this initial idea of let's 4 of us vote for Corey. Corey will go home. What do you think about the sort of optics of that move?
I think it's a good plan. Get rid of somebody that's a threat, somebody with an idol, and if he does play it, then you two aren't the other 2 votes. You can just vote off Hallie, which is what they would have most likely have done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a good plan, and if it somehow didn't work, they had a backup. This lighting is terrible.
It's okay. You'll be all right. You can see your lovely face. I agree. I think that this move is kind of like could happen, could not happen. It depends. And I have to say that this move, the 4 votes, is different from what we eventually get, which is like losing Corey in the pre-rock draw. And that's what I think is like why I sort of say it like this, is because it's different. Voting somebody out unanimously before rocks because you don't want to protect them is way different from blindsiding them at tribal council. And I think that like the move really transforms and I think really becomes a bad move for Sarah and Olivia by the end of the experience. And Dustin, I just caught up on Scotty and it was crazy. We couldn't agree more. Shit's wild over Scotty Survivor.
And it's going to get crazier.
Yeah. And I would you have wanted to vote out Corey in this point in time, Lee? Like, would this be a moment that you wanted to get out Corey, or would you maybe try and flush Corey's idol and vote him out the next week?
I think I would have tried voting Corey. Well, this is coming from somebody who doesn't know Corey at all or doesn't know any of these people, so it's probably easier for me to say what I do. But knowing, well, I don't think they knew that Eric was the backup. It would really depend if I was like in the situation, how close I was with Corey, how close I was with Eric.
Yeah.
And if I wasn't close with either of them or I didn't care, knowing me, I would have threw my vote because I'm notorious for that. It's like, well, I don't care which one of you go home, so I'm just going to throw my vote for somebody else who hasn't received a vote yet. Yeah, I'm horrible. I'm like, I would go into a tribal knowing, well, I'm not going home. I don't care for the person that does go home. I'm going to throw my vote on somebody who hasn't received one yet.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's funny because this happened in Michigan too, right? People were like, I haven't gotten any votes yet. This is pretty crazy. And then they go home. So it shit's hitting the fan for a lot of people not getting any votes. But I think that in this moment, if I'm Corey and I've heard that my name's out there and there's like a chance, because he's like, oh, the worst it can be is a tie. But I think a tie is bad. Like a tie in this situation where May is immune is bad because it will be 3 versus 2 and your allies will get scared. Like, this is why, like, I talked to, I really watched stuff. Go ahead.
If he knew it was going to be a tie, or at least had the chance of either me definitely going home or it being a tie, then if you just played your idol, it didn't matter if it was a tie or you got the most because you would admit save.
Yeah, and I think that this is something we see a lot in College Survivor where, like, people save their idols. They play them either too early or way too late. And I honestly think that this is a perfect moment for Corey to play his idol. And I don't know why he wouldn't, because at 7, you have another opportunity to make a big move. You've gotten out somebody like Eric, and then you could go after somebody like May, because I think you go to Leo and Olivia and you say, May is still here. Sarah is protecting her. We need to vote out May, get Audrey involved. That's 4 versus 3 right there. And then you can take out somebody like Sarah or Olivia. But I just think that, like, everybody is clinging to their idols, and now would have been a perfectly normal time for
to play it.
Use it. Yeah, it's just, and we know from Shane that Leo says that he told Corey to play it. Corey says Leo never said anything, but
I don't think Leo knew because he whispered to Corey and was like, "Hey, like right after the revo, he was like, hey, do you have the idol?" And then Corey was like, "Yeah, I have it." And then he was like, "Why didn't you just play it?"
What is the rule on I'm curious what the rule is in general on, like, if you're in that revote, can you just hand the idol over to Leo and be like, this is your idol now? Like,
I don't think you can. I think it has to be like before before the votes are read.
When an idol can leave your possession. Very interesting.
Yeah, because remember in Palamedes how right before the votes were read, Zach got up and was like, I'm giving my idol to Anna in case I get voted off.
I do remember that. TikTok, Zach. Yes, and that's an interesting. I'll have to look at the rule book, and I might have to write that in the Survivor New York rules. But it is a really interesting sort of concept of, like, why, Corey, why didn't you play your idol? Like, it was dangerous. And I think that out of all the people, like, you pick Eric, who has a good relationship with Audrey, so Audrey's not going to flip on him because I think Audrey takes the risk. Hallie knows he's screwed if he flips on Eric, so why would he flip on him? And May is immune. Like, I think they picked kind of the wrong person in a lot of ways to vote for.
I feel like we've been saying that a lot this season, because I said that last episode with them targeting Olivia over the others to make Audrey not flip.
Yes. Again, it's people are really picking the wrong people to vote for in these situations. I think that if they vote for Audrey, I could see Hallie and Eric being a little more inclined to flip on her. I don't think it's 100%, but I think that you can say to Audrey later and be like, well, we knew it was going to be a tie, so we saved you. I don't know. I just think it's like voting for Eric when Audrey is not on your side anymore, or like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And I was really sort of perplexed by the whole thing. I think your better bet. Go ahead.
I think they kept saying throughout like the discussion before the revote that Hallie is flipping. So I think they were like confident that, oh, Hallie would flip because he and Eric haven't been that close. But they have been working kind of together.
He has nothing to lose.
I feel like they should have like, not even Audrey, because I don't see Olivia voting Audrey. I think they should have just voted Hallie, because I don't see anyone staying with Hallie. Like, I see Audrey and or Eric flipping on him on a revote.
Yeah. I think Eric for sure would flip on Hallie. And that's, again, another reason I'm confused why Hallie is not just being targeted. And I understand the ultimate decision to target Eric, because I do think Eric is like a good challenge person who could get some jury votes in the end if people are mad at you, right? But with only so many votes left, I really think that what they should have tried to do was to be like, we are with you, Corey, but we do not know if it's going to be a 4-4 split. And I want you like really try and get him to play the idol, because then you can just pick off whoever you want, right?
Yeah.
You can just
it doesn't even matter who Corey voted for. It's like if you three vote the same.
That's what I mean. Like, you could really be like, whoever you want to go home, we will vote for. And I know they vote for Eric kind of for that reason, but like, get Corey to play the idol and then everybody can have what they want. And instead, Corey tries to hold on to this idol for another vote. And I really think that if Corey had just held on to this idol and let's say like they got Hallie to flip or something, Corey really didn't put in the work the same way that Olivia and Sarah did. And I don't think that Corey would have really had any move or any credit to him for doing this. I think it would have been another like Olivia and Sarah did the work and got the thing to happen, and Corey has no resume, whereas if he plays the idol and gets somebody out, there you go. Yeah, there's a little bit of a resume.
Yeah, I don't. It's just really confusing. I wish he was here so we could ask, why did you not play the idol?
I just think that like people really think that sometimes in Survivor people are more willing to flip than they are, but yeah. I think when you see the odds and it's 3-2.
I mean, this season already had a rock draw. These people have proven that they probably will not flip.
Yes, exactly, because that side stayed solid, and like that's that. Oy vey. But so let's break it down. So originally the plan is 4 votes on Corey, 2 votes on Leo, 2 votes on Hallie. Then Eric and Audrey decide to tell their best friends May and Hallie about the plan to vote for Corey. So Sarah has an "oh fuck me" moment, and then you know what I loved in this episode was the moment where Olivia's talking to Audrey and Eric, and she's like, "I'm literally going to go to a practice room right now and call Sarah."
Yeah, and talk to Sarah.
Right, we never see these moments where people are like, "I'm literally going to go do another conversation over there. I'll get back to you in like 20 minutes." Yeah. I love that we saw that direct, like, boop, 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 here's the timeline of Olivia moving around and talking to people. So then Olivia and Audrey kind of faced with the decision, like, what do we do here? And
Olivia and Sarah.
Olivia and Sarah, sorry. Audrey knows what she's doing.
Yeah. Audrey knows who she's voting for.
So what did you think of like Olivia and Sarah's sort of scramble? I'm actually really surprised that they're working so closely together.
Still?
I guess still, but like they trust each other, and there's really no indication that they plan on moving against each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
it definitely seems like they're a
hint.
power duo.
Right, and I'm wondering when one of them is going to realize that this could be very bad, and that they could be, they could lose the game if they're not careful to get the other one out. Anyways, what do you think of all their chaos?
I don't think they're focusing on that. I think they're just focusing on get to the end together. I don't think either of them sees the other as like someone that they are going to lose against, or that they can be, or that they really care. That I think it's one of those things like, if I were to lose, I'm happy I'd lose to you. Like all that bullshit that people say to make themselves feel better.
Mm-hmm. It almost feels like almost like a Parvati and Amanda thing, where like they're both so strong that you have to be very careful about like taking your really strong friend to the end, because it could come down to like a one vote moment where you win or lose the game, and you don't want that risk, right?
Yeah, I think we mentioned this again, like a Deb and Dylan moment where they were partners and they had the exact same game.
I couldn't agree more. Like you have to really separate yourself from the ally at the end of the day, which brings me to my question, Lee. Who does Olivia go to the end with? Who does Sarah go to the end with to win the game? Like, what do they need to do to win the game?
I'm still firmly believing that no matter who Olivia goes against, she will win. Sarah, not Olivia. See, I'm trying to think. I remember the interview with Anthony and him saying how he wasn't really a fan of Sarah's game at the time.
Yeah.
And a jury tend to have similar, if not the same, opinions on people's game. Because Anthony wasn't a fan of it. I don't think Dorothy was a fan of it. Corey, probably not now.
Yeah.
I feel like with each tribal, Sarah's slowly losing jury votes.
Yeah, and that's another thing I was thinking about, is the way that, because Olivia kind of gets out of it in a little bit by not being there, right? Because Olivia not being at the tribal council means that she's just getting the phone info. And but you watch Leo and Sarah kind of to your face be like, I'm sorry, we're flipping. And
yes,
if I was
we tried
Corey,
what we did.
Yeah. I would be really kind of like, what the fuck, Sarah? So I feel like Sarah has done a lot that might have lost people's respect for her. Not like she's not like bottom of the totem pole, right?
Yeah.
But I think
she's not losing. Like, she's definitely going to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope she gets to the end. I hope one of the queens of Sarah, Audrey, and Olivia get to the end and win the game.
That's our final three.
That's who I'm rooting for 100%. I like everybody on this.
It's probably not going to happen. That's what I want
to win. Even though May's my winner pick, I guess I'll throw that in there, because
the final four is May. The final four are all the women.
Yeah, exactly.
The women are really bringing it this season, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
No offense to the lads, you're great, but I mean the girls are bringing it, and that's usually the thing with Survivor. The girls bring it more than the lads.
Yes, this is true. And when you think about this move in general, losing Corey, who do you think is in a best spot going forward for this next episode? Like, now that Corey's gone, now that shit's hit the fan, and you have one idol gone, the merge, and here's the other thing. I don't know if Audrey, Eric, and Hallie Mae are aware that like the merge idol could be back in play in a second. I think that Sarah and Olivia will be sprinting out of tribal council to go find that idol.
Yeah. Sarah, Olivia, and Leo are probably going to go running for the idol. Yeah. While the others, I don't think, will be too hesitant. See, that's the thing. Sarah and Olivia always find themselves kind of sometimes on the losing side of alliances, but they still have the idols. While Audrey, who is, I think, always voted correctly the entire time, and then quickly doing the calculations, but thinking she might be the only one who has out of the rest of the cast. Yeah, I think she's the only one who voted correctly every time out of everyone else, who is in these power positions, but no idols.
Yeah, and I think that the biggest
makes nervous.
Yeah, the biggest factor here, actually, I think, is Leo. And I think it's because Leo, if he catches wind that Sarah or Olivia have idols, or maybe they go idol hunting without him, I think he could very well be like, all right, I'll vote them out. Like, he could flip on them easily.
Leo knows about Olivia's idol. I think I remember in the episode
yes.
Olivia's some point saying, like, I told Leo about the idol.
Yes. So I think if he catches wind that Sarah has an idol, I think that
another one.
Yeah, I think it could be bye-bye for Sarah from Leo's perspective. I think he would really want to take her out in that moment. And so I hope Sarah can kind of maneuver around him with sort of efficiency and calmness to make sure that she doesn't get sort of on the brunt of that sort of Leo antagonism. Classic Leo antagonism.
Yeah.
When it comes to this season, what do you think is the most important move so far? Sorry, somebody's talking outside my window, but I don't know who the fuck it is.
I'm having problems as well. I'm listening to my family.
It's okay.
Yelling
My dog's barking. People are outside on a porch that I don't recognize their voices. It's whatever. It's not professional yet. We're working on it.
We ain't at RAG. We ain't at Rob has a podcast level yet.
Yes.
I was like trying to think, what are the letters again? I was saying like RHLGPQ exclamation point question mark.
Yeah. So what do you think what do you think is like maybe the biggest move or turning point so far that's really influencing how this game is going now that we're kind of almost towards the end?
It's very hard to say because each episode something new big happens.
Yeah.
Like second merge episode, we get a rock draw. Third merge episode, we get a flip. Fourth one, we got this. It's like this.
Yeah.
Like this next one, for all we know, Sarah and Olivia could play their idols. Somebody could get idled out at last. It seems like with these modern college survivors, we're getting less and less idol plays as we go along.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah. Like, I'm just remembering going through, like, the most recent Boston season, most recent Maryland season, the most recent Michigan season, and this one.
Yep.
Barely any idol plays, and barely any that mattered.
Yeah, and I think it kind of, in a way, starts with Micah in Survivor Maryland All-Stars not playing his. And I think that's, like, kind of the origin of it all. Oh, Micah, I love him. But that's really kind of where it begins, right? Is like people have not been playing the idols they've been given. And I don't think this is actually true on the live reality game side of it, but I think in the college game side of it, people just get in this weird sort of headspace where they don't play their idols.
Yeah, I think the last big idol plays that I can think of was the merge in New Beginnings for Maryland when Dylan and Dawn both played idols where Dylan needed to, Dawn didn't. And in the same season, Emily playing 2 idols for herself and Susan at Final 5.
Right.
I think those are like the last big idol plays.
Yeah, I can't remember the idol. I guess maybe Jack in Michigan too, right?
No, he didn't need his idol. His was wasted.
Okay. I'm bringing it up because I don't remember.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure Lear's at best was actually, I don't know timelines with these survivors. I just know order.
Yeah, and didn't Maggie have an idol as well?
Yeah, she played in. She did need it. It was ironically a 4-4 vote, just like the one we just went through. But hers was like pre-merge. I think it was the 3rd tribal.
Right, and that's. I think honestly, when I think about the most sort of inciting incident of this whole season, I think it's the Cushy vote out, because I think that Sarah could have tanked her game there with Leo and had to go back to the Balder Alliance that she's at Balder Alliance that she's at the bottom of, and it could have been a whole mess for Sarah. But instead, she really turns that opportunity around and utilizes her relationship with Olivia and with May to kind of position herself in a better spot now that the merge approacheth. And I really think that if that cushy vote goes a different way, or if Sarah doesn't dedicate herself to rebounding from it, I think we see an entirely different season.
Yeah. I think another thing we could say was, what if when Eric played his idol in the Michael vote, what if he played it correctly?
Right, but then Eric goes home, right? Isn't that like
no?
then
Anthony goes home because it was a 2-2-1 vote.
That's right. Yes. So then Anthony goes home, and then what the fuck happens?
Who goes home in the rock draw?
Do
we get a rock draw?
Its wings, and it's all gone.
Yeah, effect and all that jazz.
Yeah, so I really think that like this game is so interesting. I call it Kagayan because again, there's fluidity. There's people moving around in power positions where they can, very easily Olivia and Sarah can swing back to Audrey and Eric, and at no point do Audrey and Eric go, we should vote out Sarah or Olivia, right? There's never a question of voting out really some of the most powerful people in the game. It's always about voting the people out on their fringes. And I think that's still a sign that they
maybe going for Sarah, but not Olivia.
Exactly. And that's
I don't see people targeting Olivia unless it's like really close to the end.
Exactly. And I'm wondering, Lee, who you think will be voted out next? Like, now that we're here and we're at Final 7, and this is probably a moment where like a huge move could very much be happening.
Final 7 is always the big move time, according to the world.
According to the world.
Yeah, so according to every Survivor player.
What do you think is going to happen? Who could go home next?
For some reason, I can see May going home, and I don't know why.
I hear that. I do think that May could easily be the person voted out. And I think it's mostly because I think people are going to be tired of letting Sarah have this sort of out for so long, right? Sarah is able to constantly be like, well, no, I don't want to vote out May. I mean, we saw in Michigan on the 7th, the Final 7, that Ivy was trying to protect her Nate alliance. And what happened to Ivy? Ivy went. And I think that...
Oh, thank God.
Final 7 is a moment where you can't protect everybody that you've been protecting for so long unless you have a solid alliance of 4, right? Like, you can't just try to be working the other side to get to 6 so that you and 2 other people can beat it. You really need to like use the momentum to fully blindside another side. And I feel like this could be a May, or it could even be a Sarah blindside if it's not careful.
Yeah, I do think it's definitely like May. Sarah could easily go if she doesn't play her idol and pull a Corey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know what I can see people targeting May for reasons. Like maybe they'll think, oh, May is very nice and the jury would like her, so we got to vote her off.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think that May, out of everybody, right, is the person who could get the Baldur's sort of I like you votes, and you're OG for me, especially with Zoe on there. I think it could be very easily won over by May.
Yeah, I can see Zoe voting for May, Corey, depending on like what May says and how bitter, because I think May was like still annoyed with the fact that Corey voted for her in that rock draw vote, and I'm pretty sure she was like, you vote for me twice, I'm voting for you twice.
Yeah, and I think that
I can even see Dorothy voting for her as well, because they were working together.
Yes, absolutely.
Anthony's up in the air if Leo and Olivia aren't in the final 3 on who he's going to vote for.
Right. But I also think that it depends on how bitter Corey is. I don't think he's going to be particularly bitter, but I do see a world where Corey wants to reward the person who didn't basically flip on him and
so no one.
Right, but I think he wouldn't vote for Eric, right? He and Eric seem to have a very tumultuous relationship. I think I would be more pissed at the people who flipped on me than the people who voted for me to begin with, because that's a move for them. But the people who flipped on me, I'd be like, man, screw you guys. Although to be fair, there was no reason for them not to flip on you. But
you could easily be like, if Leo's in the final 3, dude, I went to Rocks for you. Why didn't you go to Rocks for me?
Exactly.
Sarah,
that's
probably the same. Olivia, he could vote for Olivia. I say Audrey's like the only one who didn't like betray him because they never had a relationship really. Like him and Eric fight, May flipped on him after they were working together, and then the other three was like, sorry, we did what we did, bye. It's like Audrey's like the only one who technically didn't betray him.
Yes. And so
Audrey's doing really well.
Yes. This brings me to my final point of the episode, right? Which is like Audrey is flip-flopping. Nobody's really mad at her. Nobody's calling her a floater yet. Audrey continues to make moves without really sort of gathering the ire of the whole, especially I think it is really hard to play College Survivor when you are the youngest. Like Eric and Audrey, because inherently you're seen as the person who is the person who doesn't know what's going on. Because, I think it's
being guided by the older people.
Right. If I'm playing Survivor and I'm like 24 and I'm dealing with freshmen and they're 18, I'm sitting here being like, all right, I know what's best. I'm smart. I've been in college for 4 years, blah, blah, blah. I have this under control. And I think that Audrey and Eric, because I don't want to discount Eric, are really holding their own in comparison to the more senior people around them. And I think it's great. And I think it's good that they are able to, perform so well. I just wonder if the jury will at some point not want to reward them with a win because they're younger or they seem like floaters, when in reality, I think they're playing a really good game.
Yeah, it really depends on who they sit next to.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Is Audrey the Tony of the season, like constantly flip-flopping?
Audrey could be the Tony. Audrey could be the cast.
Since you're...
I think maybe Sarah's the cast at this moment.
Yeah, for sure. Like somebody who's making good moves, but the jury keeps saying you suck.
Yeah, or Tony, who I think we'll see who the winner is, and we'll see if they're the Tony. Because right now it's not. I don't think it is Leo, but we'll see if Leo pulls some.
Leo's the Spencer.
Leo's the Spencer. Oh no.
Thinks he's good at the game and think he's like making all these moves when really it's like, dude, come on, get a reality check.
Boy. So that's I think it. Unless you have anything else to say for this week, but. Make sure to catch Scotty Survivor. It'll be Tuesday or Wednesday, I think. And you can join us for when those episodes drop. We'll be talking about it on Discord, talking about it on the Facebook chat. And
Shane might come back. Who knows
Shane
where
might
he is.
see us again,
killed
ever
him.
again.
He's buried somewhere.
With a life now. Oh, gross. He's not, just wasting the day away watching College Survivor like us. But make sure, most importantly, to like Scotty Survivor on
YouTube.
Facebook. Follow them on Instagram. Subscribe to their YouTube. Leave a comment. Super important for people to leave comments to show that they're engaging in the videos. Yes, it helps everybody else who's a fan of College Survivor get them recommended to them. And then join the Live Reality Games community. Like us on Facebook. Join the Facebook group, facebook.com, I think /group/Live Reality Game. And join the community. We are always looking to make new friends. I think it's over 1,000 members strong. So get in on it. Join the fun. Yes, I know. Isn't it crazy? And then like us on Facebook. That's what's most important is subscribe. Thank you for joining us. You can always talk to us on Discord, where we are up at 3 a.m. just talking about fake Survivor at all times of the hour. So join us then, won't you?
Talking about why this person is better than this other person and they should have won and this person is terrible. Why are they still in?
Taking apart complete strangers for our own amusement. Exactly.
On events that happened many years ago.
Thank you, Lee, for being here. As always, I appreciate it. We will see you on the next one.